The Great Lakes Avengers. Who are the Great Lakes Avengers? The Great Lakes Avengers are one of the most zaniest, wacky, hilarious comics ever created by Marvel. They're comprised of a group of kind of flop superheroes. They go through several name changes. They start off as Great Lakes Avengers, they go to Great Lakes X-Men, Great Lakes Champions, GLI, which I believe is Great Lakes Initiative, before going back to Great Lakes Avengers, before that title was stripped from them again. So they can't even keep a stable name, let alone a stable band of members, because half of them fucking die in the first series. But it's just so funny and hilarious. It takes a comic back to the word comic. It is hilarious, it's funny, and it's something everyone who's into Marvel should read. It's kind of a breath of fresh air in the kind of more gritty, kind of more serious kind of world that Marvel kind of inhabits these days. It's fresh and interesting, and it's a really enjoyable reading. The core team members is comprised of Mr. Immortal, Big Bertha, Flatman, Doorman, and at one time, Squirrel Girl! Before she kind of went off to set off with her own series and become a new Avenger. But at one time, she was one of the core members of Great Lakes Avengers. Let's have a look at those in a bit more detail. So Mr. Immortal, well, to be honest, the clue's kind of in the name for this one. Mr. Immortal is immortal. He can't die. He tries to kill himself, he gets killed several times in the series, but each time he comes back. And in one of the comics it's revealed, this is due to the fact he has a kind of greater purpose in the universe. And when everything else is gone, he will still be standing. We're yet to find out exactly what that greater purpose is, but that's the reason provided to us. Big Bertha is a mighty, fat superhero. Big Bertha has the power to kind of control her body weight. She can make herself big or skinny, but to become skinny, she's required to make herself throw up. Yeah. But she's kind of a mighty, she's been a long-standing member of the crew, so she's one of the core members. Flatman is extremely flat. The clue's kind of the name for this one. So he can slide himself under doors and get into places with small gaps. Yay. Doorman, he is the living portal. He can make himself and make people go through doors and walls. In one of the early comics, he uses his power to unlock someone's car who got locked out. Welcome to the Great Lakes Avengers. He actually dies, and then his ghost kind of lives on, helping carry other dead people off to the afterlife. So he's still a member, even though he is technically dead. And then we've got the mighty Squirrel Girl, the girl with power of squirrels and girls. She's a fucking kick-ass member of the crew. Which is why she kind of left, so they could kind of flourish themselves. Deadpool was even an honorary member of the crew at one point, before he got kicked out for doing fuck all and eating all of their food. As I said earlier, there's also several deceased members. We've got Dinosaur, a couple of iterations of Grasshopper, and Monkey Joe, who was Squirrel Girl's adorable squirrel sidekick, before he sadly gets killed by Leatherboy. Oh. R.I.P. Monkey Joe. In the latest edition of Great Lakes Avengers, we're introduced to several new characters. We've got Good Boy, who is a girl who has the power to turn herself into her persona, which is a giant blue wolf, who's pretty fucking badass, to be honest. We've also got Pansy. Pansy's literally just a girl who received a text that was meant for Mr. Immortal, telling him the Great Lakes Avengers are back together and inviting him to come and join in. But Pansy received a text and just showed up and kind of stayed at the headquarters ever since. Well, until we get kicked out at the end of the series. And then we've got Mr. Garlic. Mr. Garlic is literally a man who Doorman went off to carry to the afterlife, but he didn't want to go. So he kind of hung out with Doorman for a while and kind of got involved in a couple of adventures with the Great Lakes Avengers. So as you can see, they're a wacky, zany, wild, really interesting crew of characters, and I highly recommend getting involved in a bit of Great Lakes Avengers reading. I actually spoke to Will Robson, who is the artist for the latest Great Lakes Avengers comic art, to find out if we're getting any more Great Lakes Avengers, but sadly There's no plans for any more at the moment, but I'm hoping Marvel, in a year or two, kind of turn around and say like, yeah, Great Lakes Avengers are fucking badass, let's bring them back. But for the time being, just get involved. Their back catalogue is fucking hilarious. Get your hands on this. Peace out, peeps.